During yesterday's January 6th Select Committee public hearings, one of the big points they were making is that Trump's statements leading up to January 6th, prepping his audience to come to Washington and calling for a massive level of action that needed to be taken to take back our country and prevent the election from being stolen, how each time he would make those statements, social media would blow up among these radical groups and among radical influencers, starting to plan their attack on Washington and starting to propagandize their audience into believing this was some big 1776 style revolution to prevent our country from being stolen from us. That was what they kept putting out there, and it was perfectly being coincided, it coincided perfectly with Trump's statements. They were following his lead and then creating this big false perception that their followers needed to fight and attack to save the country. One of the individuals that they highlighted during the hearings and showed his social media activity and videos that he put out leading up to January 6th was Alex Jones. So we're going to get to how after this and during these hearings, Alex Jones's ex-wife was putting out on social media that she has information for the January 6th committee that she wants to share. But first, just to give you a feeling for why Alex Jones is even involved in all this, this was one of the moments they played during the January 6th hearings.
It's Saturday, December 19th. The year is 2020. And one of the most historic events in American history has just taken place. President Trump, in the early morning hours today, tweeted that he wants the American people to march on Washington, D.C. on January 6, 2021.
And now Donald Trump is called.
And then they did a montage. Let me get back to a little bit more of Alex Jones.
D.C., January 6th.
He is now calling on we the people to take action and to show our numbers.
This is not Alex Jones, but it is notable. Watch how unhinged this guy was.
Going to only be saved by millions of Americans moving to Washington, occupying the entire area,
it's also on InfoWars, so Alex Jones's network.
Necessary, storming right into the Capitol. We know the rules of engagement. If you have enough people, you can push down any kind of a fence or a wall.
This could be Trump's last stand when he has called on his supporters to something that makes supporters now or never.
Something, son. Wedding.
Okay, lots of interesting stuff there. I'll keep encouraging y'all to keep up with the hearings yourself. But they highlighted Alex Jones, and presumably that was part of the reason why Alex Jones's ex-wife felt compelled to give information, we're not aware of what it is yet, about Alex Jones that would be relevant to this investigation and relevant to the January 6th committee. And so that is what we're talking about right now. Quote from Newsweek. Conspiracy theorist Alex Jones's ex-wife says she has insider info that will be welcomed by the House Select Committee investigating the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. This was something she shared on social media. Quote, I am Alex Jones's ex-wife, and I lost my kids for exposing InfoWars, which again is his network, even while he was under subsequent federal investigation. I have insider info that I believe is relevant to the January 6th committee hearings. Please share. Kelly Jones tweeted more than 40 times on Tuesday alongside previous tweets she had posted. Fascinating stuff. So he was highlighted as one of the people encouraging his followers to go to Washington and calling it this historic event and inciting his followers to possibly enact some sort of violence. This is another example of that Kelly Jones herself tweeted out.
If they want to fight, they better believe we're going to fight. And we're going to win. We're not going to fight their little Beth Ann anti-scum. We're going to take on the Soroses and the Bezoses and the Gates. We're going to take it directly to those scumbag Nazi bastards that thought they killed this country just like we did Hitler. And they'll be in their goddamn bunkers when we come for them. They will be hiding. They will pay. They will be destroyed because America is rising.
They will be destroyed. Wow.
17.
Oh, sorry.
1776 is the answer to 1984.
So what's the obsession with 77? Okay, founding of the country, all that type of stuff. They like to pretend that they are going to do some revolution similar to the American Revolution, to enact tons of violence. So it's their way of saying we are justified in a violent uprising, just like how we historically believe that Americans were justified in a violent uprising, and or the American colonies were justified, and it's time to do that again is the message he's trying to push. So he definitely was inciting violence. That was one of the things the January 6th committee was highlighting. But then now it looks like there's more information that his ex-wife might have. Now, this is a little bit risky because while of course I want to know what information she has, it does look like they have had massive feuds with one another and have clashed already. And so there is a lot more reasons than other witnesses we've seen before to why she would be more incentivized to lie about someone. But I would believe her because Alex Jones is a genuinely terrible person and has spread horrible theories, including that the Sandy Hook shooting was a false flag operation leading to the parents of kids who were killed through a mass shooting being harassed by Alex Jones followers, having to move multiple times because they were harassed so badly by Alex Jones's followers because of that theory. So he's a terrible guy. I'm sure there's a lot of information that his ex-wife has that would be damaging and that would possibly prove how bad of intentions he had. And then I'm curious to see if there's any sort of communication between him and Trump whenever they were closer, why she feels like this is relevant to the January 6th committee. All of that is really fascinating stuff. Who knows if it will bear any fruits, but definitely fascinating that she feels so passionate to share something about Alex Jones, who is a really big figure on that far right that we're talking a lot about lately in the context of the January 6th hearings, and may shed some light on just how dangerous of beliefs those people hold. And then, like I said, what possible association Alex Jones has with people closer to Trump and how that plays into January 6th.